What is the point of this program? You have constant communication. They're set up for foreign interference. They've legitimately warned you about this very specific thing, and then all of a sudden everybody just walks away? Like, this is what you planned for. This is what you prepared for. This is the information. They told you exactly what was going to happen.
That was Republican Congressman Kelly Armstrong there, attempting to get to the bottom of any involvement the FBI had in the Hunter Biden laptop cover-up. Mr. Armstrong there was confused as to what the role of the FBI is if Twitter just walks away from its warnings. Yesterday was the first hearing into Twitter's handling of the New York Post 2020 story on Hunter Biden's laptop. The House Oversight Committee ran the hearing, where 4 former executives at Twitter faced a grueling day of questioning on why the company chose to censor an important story just 3 weeks before the 2020 presidential election. On October 14, 2020, the New York Post ran a story on Joe Biden's son, detailing how they had in their possession his laptop, which was a tangled web of personal and professional scandals. Within it was alleged dodgy deals with foreign countries, as well as incriminating photos and videos of Hunter engaging in sex acts and taking illicit drugs. The story detailed Hunter's working relationship with Ukrainian energy firm Burisma Holdings and the fact that Joe Biden was named as meeting members of the company. But Twitter heavily censored the story and shut down the New York Post account for 2 weeks while blocking any user from sharing the story. In yesterday's meeting, the former executives admitted that there were mistakes made in that decision and they should have reinstated the Post account immediately. One of the big questions remains whether the FBI had any involvement in Twitter's decision to censor the story. We now know that the Bureau was aware of Russian disinformation about to drop and reportedly warned social media giants to be on high alert for it. Twitter executives claimed that they were cautious the Hunter Biden laptop story could be Russian disinformation, and they didn't want to repeat past mistakes in relation to the 2016 Russian hack and leak operation. The FBI in the last few years has been accused of politicization, especially as new revelations have come to light through whistleblowers. In September last year, a report by New York Post Miranda Devine revealed further bombshells into political bias at the FBI. The report found that in 2020, a special agent at the FBI failed to further probe a whistleblower who had come forward with allegations against Hunter Biden. The whistleblower was his former business partner, Tony Bobulinski, who was voluntarily interviewed by the FBI for 5 hours just 11 days before the 2020 election, but the allegations he presented against the now president and his son were ignored. This interview was all happening while the Post was reporting on Hunter Biden's laptop. Republicans now know all of this, further questioning the role of the FBI, which is meant to be independent of politics. Take a further look at what Kelly Armstrong said in his probe.
So you're having regular meetings with the FBI, you have connections with all of these different government agencies, and you didn't reach out to them once?
Is that question in reference to the day of the New York Post article? That's right. We generally did not reach out to the FBI to consult on content moderation decisions, especially where they related to domestic activity.
You're talking to these people for weeks and months, years prior to this leaking. They have specifically told you in October that there's going to be a leak potentially involving Hunter Biden's laptop. They legitimately and literally prophesized what happened. And you didn't contact any of them?
No, sir, I did not.
Did they reach out to you?
On and around that day, to the best of my recollection, no, they did not.
To anybody from the FBI?
Not to the best of my recollection.
But the probe into Twitter and the FBI's relationship didn't end there. Chairman James Comer took a swing at the former Deputy General Counsel James Baker, who actually used to work at the FBI before Twitter.
Aware that the FBI had Hunter Biden's laptop since December of 2019?
I'm sorry, am I aware of that now?
Well, were you aware then?
Then, no. I don't believe, sir, that to the best of my recollection, I don't think I knew.
But you're aware now?
I've heard that now, yes.
Mr. Baker, did you call any of your contacts at the FBI to ask whether or not they knew if the material had been hacked?
I don't recall contacting them about that on that day.
Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan then followed up on if James Baker ever spoke to the FBI about the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Mr. Baker, you said you didn't talk with the FBI that day. Did you talk to the FBI about the Hunter Biden laptop story prior to then or after that day?
I'm trying to make sure I can answer this question consistent with the restrictions that I talked about in my opening
Simple
statement.
question. Did you talk to the FBI about the Hunter Biden story?
I do. To the best of my recollection, I did not talk to the FBI about the Hunter Biden story before that day.
Did you talk to him after it? You said your
don't
response
recall.
is real. Your response is real specific to the chairman. You said, "I did not talk to the FBI about the Hunter Biden laptop story that day." I assume that day is October 14th. I want to know if you talked to him on the 13th or before, or if you talked to him on the 15th and after.
I don't recall speaking to the FBI, sitting here today, I don't recall speaking to the FBI at all about the Hunter Biden matter.